I'm here today at Bloomington City Hall, where one of thousands of No Kings protests is taking place across the country in active protest against the direction of the country under the leadership of President Donald Trump.
You can hear it around me, but there are no words.
Splashdowns at 1 p.m. Don't miss it, where 80,000 dunks are jumping off the Columbus Bridge, and I'm going to chase after them in this floaty. Not really. We actually have Zach Copel for that, Special Olympics Illinois Ambassador of the Day, and he will be selecting a select few dunks for some great prizes. We'll see that just shortly here at 1 p.m. Mike Badrov, Fox 32. Okay, folks, those strobing lights behind me are not just special effects. That is actually a massive storm all over southern Indiana right now, and there's actually a tornado warning by the National Weather Service in place until about 7:15 in Bloomington, Ellettsville, and a bunch of southern Indiana counties east of us, where a tornado has been sighted on radar. It was 20 years ago when the historic 2005 Chicago White Sox swept the Houston Astros for the World Series win, but it was only 2 weeks ago when the team lost one of their own, Bobby Jenks. And so during this reunion weekend and before tonight's matchup against the Cleveland Guardians, fans and family are taking the chance to remember the greatness that was the 2005 Chicago White Sox while also honoring the man that Bobby Jenks was here at Wright Field. When a tornado rolled through Bloomington and destroyed parts of the Monroe County Humane Association, it was the community of Bloomington that showed up to help clean up debris and get the shelter back on the right track.
When staff came by after the tornado to get a first look at the damage, the outlook seemed grim.
Because it was so dark, one, it felt way more intense and overwhelming just because the darkness kind of plays, with your mind.
But now, with the help of community members working through the day, hope has been restored to the Humane Association. There were about 30 members working through piles of debris, right in 20-degree weather. Board member Valerie Pena says the help has been uplifting, and they've even started to share laughs about the damage as they work through it together.
You have to almost get to that point where you can just laugh. And one of the funniest parts is this storage container that's back here was way up by the building. And when we got here Thursday night, there were a couple of us, and my husband goes, "Where's the storage container?" And it was like, "What do you mean?" And, those things are not light. And what he found it back here, and then until daylight when we came here to see the divots in the ground of where that thing hit and hit and hit till it ended up staying back here. So, that just alone, when you start putting that in your head of like, what great footage would that have been to see? Just,
The Humane Association has even received a wave of support from local businesses, such as Lenny's Brew Pub, whose owner Michael Flock said he just wanted to help give back to his community.
It was also a cool way to make a big impact and bring the community together. I know there were a lot of people that wanted to contribute in some way, and it was we had the opportunity to bring people together to help their efforts. The check donation that we're going to write today is for $2,319, and the community definitely showed up for it.
The association is still assessing damages. They estimate about 3 months before they are up and working again. For iOS TV News, I'm Mike Badrov.
It is freezing cold in Bloomington, but it is even colder outside for those without a home.
It's everything. Everything. It's my home. I never appreciated those words until I didn't have one. And now I'm going to lose it.
That was 54-year-old Candace Goffinet. She was homeless for 5 years before arriving at Beacon Inc.'s doorstep for help. Now, with little warning, she's facing homelessness once again due to policy changes from within President Donald Trump's administration.
I can't just go get another apartment. It's not that easy for me. I'm on disability. I can't just go get a job and have enough money to make it.
The funding decrease comes specifically from the U.S. Department of Housing and Urban Development and their Continuum of Care competition. Their 2025 competition limits aid organizations to only use 30% of the renewal funds toward permanent housing programs, effectively ending their support and forcing organizations into less effective models. Reverend Forrest Gilmore, executive director of Beacon, said the changes would render hundreds of their residents homeless, and Beacon would lose the ability to help hundreds more. But what do city officials have to say about this impending ordeal? I came right here to City Hall to interview homelessness response coordinator Brian Giffen,
who said that the city's unsure where to start for making a backup plan if the funding falls through.
At this point, I don't know what backup plans we could possibly have. I mean, that level of funding is not something that we can replace as a city or even as like a state. So at that point, we would just kind of be in like an emergency management situation.
Giffen also says that Bloomington would not be able to handle the increased unhoused population, stating that multiple of the city's emergency shelters are already at capacity.
I mean, we would see progressively more and more, street homelessness, unsheltered homelessness, and we would see very particularly vulnerable people out on the street with nowhere to go, right? I mean, most of the people that are in permanent supportive housing, or all of them, have a disability, right? And most of them have some type of disability that would prevent them from being able to survive and protect themselves on the street.
The battle for funding support now rests in the hands of the law, as Rhode Island District Court Judge Mary McElroy has ruled the changes to the competition illegal, and now providers wait for a final court decision, with thousands of lives hanging in the balance. Reporting from Bloomington for IUS TV News, I'm Mike Badrov.